Salmonella.
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 Do you eat chicken? Do you eat sushi? Do you eat fruits and vegetables? Do you secretly snack on raw cookie dough? How often do you really wash your hands? Think about these questions. If you answered yes to some of these questions, you may have put yourself at risk to contract the bacteria Salmonella. Did you know you can contract Salmonella from common foods and drinking water? Well, it's true. Salmonella is a group of bacteria that was discovered in the late 1800s by a veterinary pathologist named Daniel Elmer Salmon. These harmful bacteria live in the gut of many farm animals and can affect common foods such as meat, eggs, milk, and poultry. Salmonella can spread to the blood, bones, or fluid around the brain, but these types of infections are less common. Salmonella can cause more serious illness in older adults, infants, or people with chronic illnesses, such as Crohn's disease, AIDS, or cancer. There are 2,500 species of the Salmonella bacteria that exist today. You can ingest Salmonella from eating contaminated or undercooked meat, especially chicken, undercooked eggs or raw eggs. You can also get Salmonella from cross-contamination, from like vegetables or anything that comes in path with Salmonella. You can get it from handling your pets or other animals, and you can get it from drinking water. After Salmonella is eaten, it is passed through the stomach to the intestine. There it binds to the wall of the intestine through some special proteins that it actually makes in response to the specific conditions in the intestine. It actually penetrates the barrier between us and the outside. Once it gets into our insides, it is sent to the liver or spleen. Usually for any other bacteria, this journey would actually kill them. However, Salmonella has evolved mechanisms to prevent our immune system from doing its job efficiently, which then causes these symptoms that are so horrible to linger for days and days and days. The illness caused by the bacteria Salmonella is called salmonellosis, also known as food poisoning. And if you had food poisoning, you know that the symptoms are really horrible and they last a long time, and it's also similar to the symptoms of the stomach flu. But salmonella poisoning can infect people in one of two ways. It is most often spread from animals to people through the food supply, and the second way is from person-to-person transmission. And that's when an infected person's feces, unwashed from his or her hands, contaminates food during preparation or comes in direct contact with another person. Salmonella can also be directly acquired from animals and pets such as birds, fish, dogs, cats, and even turtles. Salmonella poisoning is usually characterized by fever, muscle aches, abdominal pain, cramping, diarrhea, nausea, dehydration, and sometimes vomiting. The symptoms usually appear from 6 to 72 hours after the ingestion of the bacteria, and some people can be infected and not even know. They just don't even have the symptoms. However, in some cases, specifically in children and the elderly, the dehydration can become so severe and life-threatening that they actually have to be hospitalized, and then they get treatment for their symptoms there. In other cases, the symptoms usually go away in a few days, and physicians usually suggest that you just let the bacteria run its course. There are many different illnesses that have the symptoms that are similar to Salmonella. Like I said before, the stomach flu, the vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, they have similar symptoms. So the way they diagnose for Salmonella is through your stool. They have other tests where they can test for it in your urine and in your blood. But for the fecal test, they grow the bacteria in a culture. Whatever the sample is being used is placed in a nutrient broth or on agar, and then they incubate it for 2 to 3 days. After that, a trained microbiologist comes in and he can identify the bacteria. And if the bacteria is present, it can be confirmed by its biochemical reaction that grows on the culture. Salmonellosis will usually resolve itself within 5 to 7 days, and it doesn't require any treatment other than oral fluids unless you have to be hospitalized. Some physicians will recommend a milder diet consisting of broths, toast, pasta, bananas, things that are light on the stomach to help with recovery, but the bacteria will rid itself from your system within 5 to 7 days. We can control salmonella by avoiding unpasteurized foods, washing your vegetables and fruits before you cook them, wash your hands after you handle any type of animal and its feces, and don't hesitate to send undercooked food back when you're at a restaurant. You should follow basic hygiene before you prepare food, and you should keep the raw food separated from the cooked foods. And lastly, most importantly, cook your food thoroughly.
You gotta beware of that chicken, it might have salmonella.